anyị na Chineke na nke pụrụ ihe niile. Onye ọ bụ naanị ya na-azọpụta. Onye ọ bụ naanị ya bụ okwu ya niile bụ ihe na amen. Anyị wee na-asị ezi ebube dị ngọzi na n'ụtụtụ na-eja mma na nsọpụrụ site n'ebighị ebi ma ruo n'ebighị ebi. Ise, ise, ise.
Welcome, my amazing viewers. Thank you so much for joining me on my program once again. I appreciate you wherever you are joining from. If you have not subscribed to my channel, please kindly subscribe to my channel. Click the notification bell so that you're notified each time I upload a video. You will be among the first to receive it. Thank you so much and remain blessed. If you are joining me from Africa, Asia, Europe, America, Australia, or any part of the world, I thank you very much for your contribution. Please, each time you watch my video, go to the comment section and put down your comments. That is
right. Well, good morning to you, viewers. Let's begin what's trending. In the wake of the recent Abuja-Kaduna train terror attack and negotiations resulting in the release of some of the kidnapped passengers, the governor of Kaduna State, Rufi, took it upon himself to write a memo to President Muhammadu Buhari, informing him that terrorists are consolidating their grip on communities in the state with a parallel government. The governor raised the alarm on Thursday, adding that the terrorists have advanced their plans to make Kaduna forest areas their permanent operational base for the Northwest region, citing a series of intelligence reports. El-Rufai also informed the president that the terrorists have enacted a law to ban residents from participating in the 2023 general election and are now settling disputes in communities. Well, Rufi, over to you. I'd like to start off by saying that, this is not new. I mean, we all know that this has been going on. There is already an organization in their camps. Yeah. But I mean, the fact that they have now started settling quarrels in communities got me, really. Rufi.
It's sad. And that's why, please, I know the campaign has started, but let's not politicize the campaign. Terrorists are already settling quarrels in communities. They're saying people should not vote for 2023 elections. And somebody came out to say that some comedians wrote to President, or comedians said they were going to attack President Buhari. And these same comedians attacked the convoy of the president. These same comedians are the ones that are already settling quarrels now in Kaduna. These same comedians were so comedic in nature that now it has taken the governor of the state to write to the president about comedians. Can you see the journey of comedians? These same comedians arrested passengers, and they are collecting millions of dollars in ransom from them. These same comedians are the ones that were walking past the Kaduna airport. We all remember that incident, that they had to be repelled. They said they were just strolling by. They are comedians, so.
Correct.
So I'm happy that Governor El-Rufai has written a memo to the president about this bunch of comedians. This bunch of comedians that are now taking over societies. And I hope that these comedians are fought once and for all. I'm sure people will get my point about this comedian talk. You see, we just want a better country.
Right.
Insecurity is rearing its ugly head. The governor is screaming. This is the time for all hands to be on deck. Identify the problem. Marshal every point possible to solve the problem. And I believe, truly, that Nigeria can win in this case of banditry and insurgency. I believe we can still save Kaduna leading up to the election and even after the election.
Right.
And I believe that the message, the letter, this memo being written by Governor El-Rufai should be taken seriously, and all hands should be on deck to destroy these people that want to put Nigeria to shame. It's not funny.
No, it's not.
They aren't comedians. These threats are real, but I believe Nigeria can overcome.
Right. Tundu, before I take your comment, in another development, the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Abubakar Malami, on Thursday disclosed that the federal government secured over 1,000 convictions on terrorism-related cases within the first 18 months. The AGF made the statement while speaking to journalists at the 46th session of the State House briefing organized by the Presidential Communications team at the Asorock Villa in Abuja.
Federal Ministry of Justice, within the 18-month period I'm talking about, was actively involved in prosecution of 312 criminal cases for various offenses, including terrorism, maritime offenses, armed robbery, cybercrime, kidnapping, among others. We have so far, as a ministry, secured over 1,000 convictions on terrorism within the period in consideration. 1,000 convictions on terrorism. Again, convictions were secured in 45 cases. Also, the Office of the Attorney General filed extradition proceedings against suspended DCP Abakari, for example, in line with mutual legal assistance request from the United States of America. The matter is still ongoing before the Federal High Court.
All right. Well, this is a great news, great development, and kudos to the federal government for securing those convictions. But like Nasser El-Rufai has just raised that alarm, saying that in Kaduna State, the terrorists have set up their camps and are running a parallel government. We've heard all of these convictions. We don't see them. We want to see them. A lot of Nigerians are asking to see these people that have been convicted. We've seen videos of these Boko Haram terrorists being paraded. Can we see videos of these 1,000 convicted terrorists? Tundu Abiola.
Well, where do I start? I think I'll start with what you said, Rufai. And you're right, nobody's laughing at the moment, so I don't understand this whole comedic theory. And it's not about settling quarrels. I'm not hearing settling quarrels. I am hearing a parallel legal system.
Yes.
This is an entire government. Because I recall about 6 months ago reading about how they even have their system of how they charge taxes to farmers and herders. You pay 2,500 naira for every cow, 1,500 naira for animals that are smaller than cows. They have a proper system in this country. And at some point, I believe it was 2015, 2016, 2 million Nigerians were, under the rule of Boko Haram in this country, a sovereign nation.
Yeah.
We have managed to make gains since then, but it's very easy to return to those dark days, and even worse if care is not taken, which I imagine is why Governor El-Rufai had to raise that memo, and why he tends to have a very sort of strong stance with regards to fighting this problem. His stance is go there and bomb them all to smithereens, regardless of the collateral damage. It's easy for him to say because his relatives are not there, but it explains why, because he understands the kind of danger that is lurking. They are banning political activities and campaigns. Who do they think they are? There will be an election in this country next year, every part of the country. So that's completely unacceptable. And to the point that you're making, it just goes to a lack of trust with regards to when you claim 1,000 convictions of whom. But I don't share that distrust, because if there were no terrorist convictions, there would have been no Kuje prison break. There were people convicted of terrorism in this country, which is why they've gone and they've broken them out, which is a separate disgrace on its own. But it just goes to show that people are in jail for committing terror offenses. But I think the federal government should be more sensitive to the fact that that distrust does exist in this society. And also the accusations of complicity. You cannot dismiss these things and talk about comedians and talk about people who don't know what they're talking about. It has to be addressed.
Yes.
So I think it does need to be more public, this entire process. We need to see it. Even a major coup, as far as I'm concerned, the arrest of people linked to the Owo massacre, some people don't even believe it. Some people are like, well, they were arrested, then they'll probably be released. So there is that gap there. There's that trust deficit that does need to be addressed urgently. So we do need names, we need details, we need to see.
We do.
We need to see
Yes.
who was and what exactly are they being charged with. We need to see 1,000 convictions of what exactly, because there's a whole spectrum of offenses under terrorism laws in this country, and we need to see punishment. A lot of people are calling for capital punishment. Frankly, we need to see that too.
Absolutely, you're absolutely right. Mr. Ifeanyi.
Yes, the last time a governor raised alarm like this was the governor of Niger State, when he said to the whole world, it was not in a personal memo, that terrorists are massing around in Niger State, not too far away from the Federal Capital Territory. Nothing was done. Nothing was done. And these guys, with time, they attacked the Kuje prisons, or correctional centers, they call them now. and release their members who perhaps were convicted. And they're now back in the forest to join their gang to continue the atrocities. Nothing was done. So what will the president do with this memo? But I think for Rufi went all the length to document it. The memo was sent to the president that these guys have taken charge of communities.
Yeah.
In 2015, we said number of local governments that were under terrorist control, blah, 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 blah. Now, these guys have taken charge. They are not even afraid of anybody coming to harass them. They are collecting taxes. They are organizing their own kind of government. So what will the government we elect do? So we wait to hear from the president. Yes, conviction, 1,000 sounds a lot of figure. But if you juxtapose that with those who were called repentant bandits and given jollof welcome, just what about the list of sponsors of terrorism in Nigeria made available to Nigerian authorities by the United Arab Emirates authorities? What have we done with that list? Have those people been exposed? Have they been tried? So much for conviction, Oji.
Absolutely. We'll take another story. Human rights lawyer and senior advocate of Nigeria, Femi Falana, has added his voice to those calling for the ban of medical tourism for public office holders. Speaking at a book presentation in Lagos on Thursday, Falana said anybody who holds public office must be treated and must die in the country. Falana also encouraged Nigerians to interrogate the plans of the various candidates running for office in 2023. He says questions should be asked on health issues, academic staff union of universities strike, insecurity, economy, their position on all these issues, and how they plan to end them for good. Tundu Abiola, over to you on this comment.
The way you said they must die in this country.
Must die here.
We die here.
We go to the hospital. I mean, I could just imagine how he...
We die here.
You know, he does that gesticulation all the time to do his
Are
crying.
you making I love it, Oji.
We die here. That's a popular Nigerian phraseology.
I mean, but you know, he's not
We
the
die
first
here.
person. He's
So
not
that's
the
what,
first person to raise this point, though. But I don't know
he's
what your
not.
thoughts are. You know that senator presented that bill that was thrown out.
It's actually in the House of Reps that it's passed second reading. Honorable Ogun Sergius Ogun, his bill has passed second reading in the House of Reps, but his is slightly more nuanced. I think what his bill is saying is that if you're a public office holder, you cannot use public funds. If you use public funds to treat yourself abroad, you could face 7 years in jail or a fine of up to 500 million naira. So it's not a blanket ban, but Femi Falana's appears to be more of a blanket ban. And I understand why he would propose that, because all the things with public office holders is public service. You are public servants. You are supposed to serve, and you're supposed to sacrifice for your country. So you should be the one to fly the flag for your country's healthcare. And if you cannot, then you have to attend to that problem. As long as you have alternatives, right? You know, London or Germany or wherever, it's just a hop, skip, and a jump away. You're never going to attend to what your average Nigerian has to deal with. So that's really the idea. And I completely understand it. However, the Constitution, as Mr. Falana, SAN, knows better than anybody, guarantees us certain liberties. So I don't know if the National Assembly will ever pass such a law, because it's really up to them. That kind of blanket ban, they might try and find some kind of nuances more along the lines of Honorable Ogun's bill, if at all.
What are your thoughts? But you are one of the people who've been advocating for the presidential candidates also to be questioned about their health.
And I think, I don't know, I know it's not constitutional, you lawyers know the whole gamut of it, but I think it should be made mandatory one way or the other, that every presidential candidate should give us a comprehensive health record so that we know what we're dealing with. You see, there's no harm with somebody being sick, but at least let the people know what we're dealing with. I can go back in history and tell you about President Yaradua, how we didn't know what he was dealing with and all of that.
We still don't.
We still don't know what killed President Yaradua. And we have a right to know as a people. And because President Yaradua's case was particularly painful because at a point, he collapsed on the campaign trail. And I remember that infamous call of reassurance. Umoru.
I remember that. Yes.
We
remember that.
So please, put it out there in the public. Let us know what you are dealing with as a presidential candidate. And when the debate starts and when the campaign starts, I think we should also ask them that question.
Right.
Secondly, I think what Mr. Femi Falana is really happy is the fact that it's the neglect for the healthcare sector. And that's why in all of this, for the sake of balancing, there's been some ray of hope. Look at Vice President Yemi Osinbajo going to a Nigerian hospital, getting treated here. We're all excited. We wish him quick recovery.
Right.
We had the doctors here, and I felt proud to be in Nigeria.
Very valid point.
Yes, I felt proud to be in Nigeria because I sat here.
He had a fracture.
Wasn't it? A fracture, yes.
Surgery.
Yes.
And that hospital, the Duchess International.
And I sat here. And I felt so proud to be in Nigeria. I was asking a Nigerian doctor about the state of health of my vice president. Something that's never happened before. And he was giving me blow-by-blow account how my vice president was doing.
Amazing.
I felt so proud to be in Nigeria.
Amazing.
And kudos too, because when you do well, I call it out, kudos too to agencies like the CBN that made loans available to make that possible. The question is, how can we improve Nigerian hospitals that public healthcare center can give you quality healthcare service, that government officials can have their healthcare here? I think that should be the priority we should push. And I think that's what he's just saying invariably. And that's why he's saying that if you stop them from going abroad, it will be a deterrent. Also, in the sake of balancing, see, anywhere in the world, citizens go to other countries, even with the best healthcare system, they go to other countries to seek healthcare because specialization differs.
Right.
All right? But he's just saying that for the sake of accountability. And let's also extend it. I think we were seated here when the doctors from the Duchess said that in the 70s, parents used to come back home from Canada to come and deliver in University Teaching Hospital in Ibadan.
Right.
Because as at that time, UCH was number 5 best healthcare center in the Commonwealth. And there were stories of people living abroad to come and have their medical health check in Nigeria. The question is, how can we go back to that level?
Very well
and I think that's the priority of this conversation.
Very well said. We shall take our final story. The murder of 27-year-old Nigerian model and businessman Christian Obumseli by his girlfriend, 26-year-old Courtney Claney, who is currently facing charges of aggravated murder, has raised many questions about violence and racism among interracial couples. Christian Obumseli was murdered on April 3rd at the couple's apartment in Miami, Florida. The county medical examiner said in an autopsy report that he died from a forceful downward thrust from a blade that went 3 inches into his chest, piercing a major artery. The Miami-Dade state attorney described his murder as a culmination of a tempestuous and combative relationship that began in November 2020 in a footage released this week by prosecutors as part of evidence resulting to Courtney's arrest. She was seen slapping, punching, and pulling Christian's hair by an elevator as he's desperately tried to fend off her attack just 2 months before she murdered him. That was such a horrendous video. This tragic incident that occurred in Florida, like I said, has raised a lot of questions. Mr. Ifeni, if you can add your voice about relationships and violence. Now she's facing charges. We only just talked about Alika, the man who was brutally murdered in Italy. I don't know what your thoughts are on this story really quickly.
This cold death that happened to this Nigerian, I think the authorities must do well to seem to have enough evidence that yes, she was complicit.
Yeah. And
I hope that, well, justice will not bring him back to life, but I hope he will get justice even in his grave.
Yes, absolutely. Etundu Abiola.
I just really hate the notion that men are beasts, that, are not capable of finer feelings, and any abuse towards a man is completely dismissed. If they're lucky, it's only diminished, but usually it's dismissed. If he had gone to the police station to say, oh, my girlfriend assaulted me, he would have been laughed out of the room.
Right.
But each man needs to take his own life seriously. The way we tell women, if somebody thinks it's okay to raise their hand to you, in an argument or under any circumstances, you must trust and believe that person is capable of killing you and act accordingly, because things just tend to escalate. Once somebody starts to hit you, you could die. It is really that simple. You have to remove that person from your life, and it's that simple. I just pray that his soul finds rest and that his family find comfort. This is such a waste of a life. Tragic.
May his soul rest in peace.
Amen.
A quick comment.
Please, again, once the person raises his hand, be it man or woman, please run out of that relationship faster than tempo run. I beg you, just run. There's no point staying. There's no point hoping they'll change. They'll never.
No.
For them to be able to do it is a collection of many emotional interplays over the years. And you didn't cause the problem. They are dealing with it from their own homes.
Right.
From their own childhood. You can't change them. You are not God. You love them, yes, but love can be sentimental. Please run.
Absolutely.
For your own dear life.
Very well said.
To avoid matters that touch.
Very well said, Rufi. Well, thank you all. I'm so upset that I had to end What's Trending this way today. May his soul rest in perfect peace. That's all I have for you on What's Trending today. I'll see you all next.
Thank you so much for your patience to watch from the beginning to the end. I hope you have learned something from the video you have just watched. The video you have just watched is to bring information to your doorstep and for educational purpose. It is not to demonize anybody. Let us watch continuously and see who can be able to make a sense out of every nonsense we are seeing. We must continue. We move. It doesn't matter what they do. It doesn't matter what they say. They will kill us. We will kill them. At the end of the day, Biafra is here. Thank you for watching. If you have not subscribed to the channel, please kindly subscribe to the channel. Click the notification bell so that you're notified each time I upload a video. You will be among the first to receive it. Thank you and remain blessed. Bye-bye. See you again.